the old Leicester player, Muzzy, is it? Has been pointing where he's going to put his penalty and duly delivering at half-time. The last time he took a penalty for Leicester was 8 years ago, and he scored that one as well. I suspect if this goes all the way to penalties, though, in Cardiff, the pressure will be a bit higher.
Yeah, of course it will. You know, they wish they probably had Muzzy, is it, as well, to take one. You know, a bit cool there, wasn't it? Well, no, it's good. It's like I said, George, the pressure's good for some players. They like it. You know, give me more pressure, I'll play better. Like you say, the first half was a little bit of a stalemate. Matty Fry couldn't make a difference. What Leicester have got to do, though, they've got to commit. If they keep it like this at the moment, with Waghorn up on his own, they've got to commit players quicker up towards him. Even if he doesn't bring it down and the centre half heads it, King's got to get there, Spearing's got to get there, Wellens has got to get there. At the moment, he's too isolated, therefore, a bit of a hard job up there on your own. I've experienced it myself. On the other hand, you know, Cardiff are going to say more of the same. Get it up to Jay, Chopper's runs, Whittingham, you know, Burke down the side. So, you know, interesting second half.
OK, let's rejoin our commentators, Scott Minto and Bill Leslie.
Well, the half-time entertainment here, getting out the legends of yesteryear, the likes of Muzzy, is it Steve Walsh also out there, scored a couple of goals in a Wembley playoff final win. That was against Derby back in 1994. Served to freshen up the crowd a little bit, get a bit of a party atmosphere going. But those 11 out there in the blue for Leicester know that they'll need to get better in the second half, or they run the risk of going to Cardiff with a serious deficit. No changes, by the way, to either side at half-time. Question on the lips of most of the Leicester City fans around us at half-time, Scott. How long before Matt Fryatt is thrown on?
Well, it might not just be Matty Fryatt, it might also be Matt Oakley, because Cardiff are definitely winning the midfield battle. I just wonder whether Nigel Pearson will be looking at, yeah, of course, Matty Fryatt, who can score the goals. They do need to be scoring today, but also just to actually take control of the midfield, which they haven't. Matt Oakley can do that.
Here's Spearing. It was teed up tidily for him by Wellens, but he couldn't take the gift. Talk about momentum, don't they, coming into the playoffs, and certainly of these two sides, Leicester the ones with it, with those 5 back-to-back wins. 9 changes Dave Jones made for the final day defeat against Derby. They lost their 10-match unbeaten run there, but it hasn't seemed to have affected them, as the 9 men who were rested that day all come back today. Been the most likely to in the first half, but of course at this stage of the season that counts for absolutely nothing. Here's Wellens. Gallagher. Kennedy. And Whittingham. Bothroyd. Shopper on the move alongside him. McPhail. Good burst from midfield by Ledley. Unfortunately, it was read from a Leicester perspective by Alex Bruce. So Chris Burke with the first corner of this second half. It's a Cardiff one. Out come the boys from the back, Blake and the captain Hudson. Bothroyd standing right in there on the Leicester keeper, Chris Wheel. Solid defending again, just came up McPhail a little too fast. Whittingham now. McPhail, oh, he's hooked it goalwards, and over it goes.
Well, Chris Burke certainly felt that he should have played the ball out wide. Got another crossing. McPhail, great technique he's got. He's capable of chesting and volleying it, sticking it in the top corner. Certainly a class player, there's no doubt about that. Really great left foot, can dominate midfield. He's helping his team do that today.
Always so many stories individually when you come to the playoffs, and Stephen McPhail's season has certainly been one that has been potentially tinged with tragedy. Diagnosed with cancer, he's overcome that. Thought at one point he might never play football again, but here he is, the heartbeat in midfield of this Cardiff side, hoping to close in on Wembley and close in on the Premier League for the first time in their history. That's McNaughton, whipped in well, Bothroyd! Well,
again, this is what Bothroyd can do. You've got to stop the cross. No one's coming out and stopping that cross. Great ball from McNaughton, right at the far post, the type of cross that Bothroyd would absolutely love and practice regularly in training. And he'll be thinking, I've got to hit the target there. If he does, with that bullet header, he's giving Chris Will no chance.
Well, it's another one that goes down in the Cardiff column of real chances. Chopra with that shot from distance, that close-range tap against the post in the first half, and Bothroyd's header inside the first 5 minutes of the second. You never know whether there will be key moments that come the final reckoning in South Wales on Wednesday night. Cardiff fans will look back at and go, well, what if? It's allowed to bounce, and that can be a dangerous game, but Waghorn offside.
I think Dave Jones will be delighted with how his team have played today, and not just the first half, but started off the second half. And when you are on top, you really need to put the ball in the back of the net. They are the classier side, technically that little bit better. And you can feel that today. You can feel if there's a goal going to come, it would be against the run of play if it was going to Leicester.
There's been a coolness, a composure about the way they've conducted themselves so far. Doesn't kill you off, makes you stronger. And certainly Cardiff hit the lowest of the low last season, didn't they, when they missed out on the playoffs, having been in the positions for most of the season. No difference, only that final day defeat at Sheffield Wednesday. Dave Jones has used it, he's channeled it, largely the same group of players, and believes now, just short of his 5th anniversary in charge of Cardiff, that this is the blend he needs to take that all-important step. Ridsdale, who has been at the helm as Cardiff have sailed through choppy waters over the last few seasons, still in it really, still a little bit of uncertainty with a large debt owed to the taxman, but Peter Ridsdale, with a new investment promised around the corner, will step down at the end of this season. It's been a partnership that's worked well for Cardiff though, hasn't it? Ridsdale in the boardroom and Dave Jones in the dressing room. To Wembley in the FA Cup final, of course, they fell short there. Is this their season? 50 years on from the last time they did it. They will think so. Unfortunately for them, there are also 3 other clubs in exactly the same position who reckon that they fancy their chances of joining Newcastle United, joining West Bromwich Albion in the Barclays Premier League next season.
Well, you can see the two just chatting along. I think it won't be long before Nigel Pearson does make a substitution. Cardiff have pretty much started off the second half as they had the first. You just feel that when the ball goes up to Martin Waghorn, there's no help whatsoever. Lloyd Dyer's tried to get close, but he's not. Gallagher on the other side, pretty much the same thing. And they're just getting overrun in midfield. He needs to shore up that midfield. Make a double substitution with Fryatt and Oakley coming on. I think that would make the difference.
King. Here's Burner. Came off McNaughton, appeals for handball. It was outside the penalty area when it hit him anyway.
No, you just don't get these, do you? You just see outside the box, not even hit his hand.
And the appeals largely coming, it has to be said, from the crowd at the Walker Stadium rather than any of the players down there. Waghorn, this is Burner. Hobbs. In it strongly. They've missed him at times over the recent months, Cardiff. Mark Hudson, their captain, long term with an injury. Here's Dyer, fleet of foot. Spearing. Oh, just wide. Richie Wellens almost shaving the outside of the post, but just nudging it wide.
This is better from Leicester. This is what they need. They're at home, they need to attack, they need to try and get the goal. Dyer just looking up, seeing if he could maybe have a shot himself, or maybe even thought about passing it wide. Made it off for Wellens. It's a decent strike. Suddenly had David Marshall diving to his left, scurrying across to the far post.
Sometimes you get it, don't you, that players who have never scored for a club get a goal and others follow quickly. Richie Wellens got his first last time out from the penalty spot against Borough. Coming close there. Seems to have galvanised Leicester a little. McNaughton away. Here's Burner, getting in there ahead of Burke. Now Spearing. Here's Wellens. It's got the crowd going as well. Solano. Gallagher. Spearing. Taken away by Ledley, and here come Cardiff. Chris Burke. Back comes Wellens. Neatly done. Spearing for Dyer. You can see what he was trying to do. Just lost his footing as he went to turn away from Hudson. The Leicester fans a lift as well. Got a wonderful ovation here in the last game against Middlesbrough when he came back from that broken jaw. Just the injury itself is also the fact that, that's Joe Bothroyd in strongly. Checked on Hobbs before meting out the punishment to Bothroyd.
That's a silly challenge. He just doesn't need to make a challenge like that. He's not going to win it. He leads with his arm. Jack Hobbs, it's a good, brave header. And for me, I think he's just given away a foul and the yellow card, and he didn't need to. It wasn't as if Jack Hobbs could get any height or distance on the header.
One apiece now in yellow cards. Jack Hobbs, the recipient of that Bothroyd challenge, also the recipient of a card in the first half for Leicester. You could level it to some extent in the first half, both sides feeling their way into this semi-final a little bit. Just a feeling that the ante is being upped a little in this second. 10 minutes into it, Leicester have the corner. Gallagher comes across to take it. Bothroyd back now to meet it at the near post. Whittingham on. Wellens. Hobbs. Just going back to that Matty Fryatt injury. He lost best part of 1.5 stone as well as part of the repercussions of the broken jaw. Had to feed himself with soup through a straw because his jaw was wired up. He's back to his fighting weight now. Get back amongst the goals for Leicester.
Yeah, sometimes with certain injuries you can still maybe get on the bike, do some swimming, something like that. There's nothing he could have done. And not only that, a lot of muscle wastage by the sounds of it. So when you do get back, it does take you a lot longer to get back to full fitness.
Chopra was in there, but so too was Hobbs. Bruce resisting the calls from his keeper, keeping it alive. Waghorn. You win some, you lose some in those contests, and this time Waghorn getting the benefit of Alan Wiley's decision. That is a bold one from Wellens, trying to loop it in from that sort of range.
That shows he's got confidence, isn't it? Had a shot a few minutes earlier, 20 yards out, just past the post. I don't think he's going to be getting a goal from there. Just the ball's going up from the back four to Martin Waghorn. He's doing really well. He's got two players, two centre-halves alongside him. He's having to muscle the both of them. Sometimes he's winning the ball, but even if he does, he's getting no real support. That's why I just think a substitution would be better, become sooner rather than later.
Waghorn. Just wonder how much the selection today has been dictated to by the injuries. James Vaughan, who's on loan from Everton, has been starting recently. He's got a slight hamstring strain, so wasn't risked today. Steve Howard who would thrive on that target man role, and was suspended. Here's Waghorn, didn't catch it right. Solano finding a touch on the deck. Wellens looking to find that telling pass inside. He has found Waghorn. Wellens. Now Dyer. Solano's come forward. Dyer won't need him. Dyer!
Well, this is what he is capable of. Not seen much of him in the game so far. You show him inside, on your left foot, he'll go inside. He'll get that half a yard, and he'll have the strike. You've got to show him outside, onto his right foot, away from goal. It's poor defending from Cardiff. Good bit of skill from Lloyd Dyer. I'm sure Nigel Pearson will be thinking, I need to see more of that from you.
Whereas Matt Friday might not have 90 minutes in the tank just yet. He's certainly got 30. And that's what it looks like he's going to get. Burke. McPhail. McNaughton couldn't keep it in.
There's the attempts. Cardiff, one more. Only one on target from both teams. I'm sure the home side will be disappointed with that, and Cardiff, the amount of possession they've had, will be disappointed with that. Keeper's not been worked enough.
Bothroyd guilty of squandering a chance that really should have been on target early in this half from that header. McPhail, Bothroyd. No foul on Bothroyd. Waghorn, Gallagher. Now Burner. They've invited McPhail to make the challenge there, such was the nature of the pass. But it's much better from Leicester in the second period. Solano gives it away cheaply. Now Bothroyd. Free kick Leicester. Hugh Friant. The top comes off, and the striker, the joint top scorer, comes on.
Well, he's taken off Lloyd Dyer. Not seen a lot of Dyer in the game. Just a couple of minutes ago, saw a little bit of skill, what he is capable of. Sure, it would have been a tough one between him and also Paul Gallagher. Gallagher's tried to hug the touchline, but again, not seen a lot of him. I'm sure the fans will be absolutely delighted to see one of their favourite players come on. He's a goal scorer, there's no doubt about that. Better first half of the season than second. I'm sure Nigel Pearson just would have said, you got half an hour to do something. Show us a bit of skill, get that ball in the back of the net.
He's one of those players who has the knack of being in the right place at the right time. Nearly been able to release there by Wellens. And when he is in the right place, he's a very cool finisher as well. Bothroyd forced wide by Hobbs and took a heavy touch.
A decent ball over the top. Hobbs did well to keep up with him. Didn't foul him. Bothroyd was hoping he'd get the touch, get a bit of contact, go down, win a free kick. Hobbs very clever there. Yeah, Matty Fryatt, one thing you need as a top striker is if you have the chances and you miss them, you still put yourself in the right position, and he certainly does that. He doesn't worry too much if he does miss them. He'll know he does get himself in the right position more often than not. Now it's down to the midfield to try and get the ball to him.
It's also important to remember that he's still a young player. Here he is now, still only 24, still on the upward curve of his career, you would think. Solano, more in the autumn years of his, finding Wellens. Waghorn taking up a good position, McNaughton doing well, really well. Now here comes Burke as Leicester protest. They should have had something. Are they going to be caught cold by Chris Burke? On his compatriot Gallagher to Joe Ledley. Kennedy. Solano shepherds it out.
Well, was this a penalty here? First glance, I didn't think it was, but you look at it, not for the foul, certainly for the handball. His arm completely away from his body. Again, I think everyone perhaps thinking, was it for the foul? Nigel Pearson, he didn't care what it was for, the foul or the handball. I don't think it was for the foul, but it was for that handball. I think Will Norton can count himself very lucky.
It looked like he'd used his body well to shield the player. What we couldn't see from this side was the way he got his hand out. Nigel Pearson clearly got a good view, you could see by that.
Well, he just kind of brings his arm back when he doesn't need to. Waghorn just was claiming for the foul. As I say, I don't think it was for the foul, but the way he brought his arm back, he didn't need to do that at all. That's a penalty.
Ledley. Bothroyd certainly seemed to be leaning into Burner. Alan Wiley saw it that way as well. And Jay Bothroyd, is he calling him across here because he's already been booked, Jay Bothroyd? A last warning for Jay Bothroyd. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, well, Mark Hodson just got to have a word with him. Alan Wiley, very experienced referee. You can just see he's not happy maybe with some of the challenges that's come to the back of him. But he's got to stay calm. Already on a yellow card. Alan Wiley's saying, listen, one more like that and he's going to get a second yellow. And Hudson's just got to be careful, just got to do the captaincy role. Listen, the last thing we need is going down to 10 men. We're playing the better football. And even if it goes 0-0 at the end of the game, that's not a bad result. Down to 10 men. You just feel Leicester could go on and nick this game.
Centre half and centre forward Lockhorns at the other end of the field. Well, it's always had all the makings, this one, of a tie that would be separated by the finest of margins. Looks like it will be that way. There'll be a loss of composure, a moment of brilliance, a mistake. Who knows? Two sides who over 46 games of the season couldn't be separated by any points, both finishing with the same total, could only be separated by 3 in terms of goal difference. It'll just be the single goal over the two-legged semi-final to get to Wembley to face Blackpool or Nottingham Forest. Here is Bothroyd.
I just feel at the moment he's not as composed as he could be, although saying that, this could have gone in at the far post.
And that would have opened the discussions as to, did he mean to?
I think we know the answer to that. That's a definite no. But he wouldn't have cared if it had hit the back of the net. But he's better than that, though. As I say, he just needs to calm himself down a little bit. First half gave Leicester back for real trouble. Not so much the second half.
And you can add to that list of decisive factors in tight matches, flukes as well. Let's not forget, something freakish could well come into play. Solano. Wellens. Decisive goalkeeping by Marshall. Ledley. And clearing it away, he's cleared out his own man. McPhail is stricken.
Well, it's good, positive goalkeeping. It's exactly what you want. I'm sure he must have got the shout, Steve McPhail. You can just see the way he's come out. He's just completely caught him there, hasn't he? Almost in the rib cage. But that is what you want from your goalkeeper. You don't care whether it's the defenders, attackers, loud shout, come through it. And certainly, Steve McPhail felt that.
Well, this break-in play gives us a chance to mark your card for more playoff action that is up and coming on Sky Sports. The second leg, Nottingham Forest against Blackpool. Blackpool with that 1-goal lead from yesterday's match. They play to a conclusion Tuesday. Sky Sports HD 2-2 from 7:30. And then we fight to the finish in South Wales on Wednesday night from 7:30. Sky Sports HD 1-1. It might have been a match of relatively few efforts on target, but it's been a match of unerring commitment. There have been pretty few pauses in play.
You just see Nigel Pearson not happy about the handball at all. I completely understand why. That's a penalty. Everyone was thinking at first, was it a foul? I didn't think it was. But the way he just brought his arm back there, he's hit his arm away from his body. Nigel Pearson still chipping away. Can't believe how his side didn't win a penalty.
Well, we've got about a quarter of this first leg to go. We will find out shortly just how important Nigel Pearson thinks it is to come away from here with some sort of lead. He's already changed his formation to send on Matty Fryatt and go to a more orthodox 4-4-2. I suppose you can see that as a positive move. But having already lost down in South Wales at Cardiff's new ground twice this season in different competitions, does he feel the need to force the issue here? Dave Jones will be quite comfortable if they can head back at full time, as the scoreline is now. That's solid by Hudson. Hobbs comes across to Sita Chopra. He's happy to settle for the throw.
Yeah, Jay Spearing just gone out wide right. Paul Gallagher's come over to the left-hand side. You can see Martin Waghorn looks a lot more comfortable with Matty Fryatt closer to him. Working a bit more of a partnership. Martin Waghorn did really well on his own up front for most of the game, but did need that help. Certainly getting it now.
Hobbs, King. Hudson and McPhail has recovered from that collision with his keeper. Whittingham. They've had their moments within the match, but you do get the feeling, don't you, Scott, that Cardiff are playing within themselves.
The first half, I do think they dominated. Second half, I think, to be fair to Leicester, there's been a bit of a team talk from Nigel Pearson. They said, listen, you're at home, we've got to up the tempo and do a lot better. I just think from Dave Jones' point of view, the likes of Chris Burke and Peter Whittingham not really been involved in the game. We know how good they are wide, getting the crosses in. We've already seen McNaughton get forward, get a cross in for Jay Bothroyd.
Speaking of crosses, it's Burner, it's blocked by Hudson. Leicester will get another chance with a flag kick. And throughout the Nigel Pearson reign, it's been one of their real strengths. It's one of the game's basics, and it's one that they tend to do well. Comes Hobbs, late to arrive on the scene as Gallagher floats it in, away by Hudson. Here's Wellens now. Gallagher, Wellens, great ball in for Gallagher. Oh, he just can't get that, just a little too heavy in the end.
Oh, it's a great run from Gallagher, and almost a great ball from Wellens, just trying to get half a yard to have a shot, realised he couldn't. Peter Whittingham falling asleep there. If that had just been played a little bit softer, Paul Gallagher would have been in. A great opportunity of the byline to cut the ball back or just hammer it across. Something that defenders hate to defend against, especially when they're facing their own goal.
Attacking sets. Maybe Nigel Pearson will feel that he should have James Vaughan back and available on Wednesday, and he'll have Steve Howard available again after suspension. Many more attacking options. away by Kennedy. Bothroyd, decent hold-up play for Whittingham. Kennedy. Shot tried the flick, it has found Ledley. And the referee may well take further action after that challenge. It's a last warning for Wellens. Certainly not shy of a challenge, is he, Richie Wellens? Saw him sent off here in that match against Newcastle. So, with just over a quarter of an hour remaining, it's a first change for Cardiff City. Off goes Chris Burke, and on comes the young, on-loan Manchester City attacking player Kelvin Atuhu. Can play as a striker, looks like he'll be asked to play again as a wide midfielder here.
Again, it's a pretty positive move from Dave Jones, isn't it? Realising they probably have just edged it, certainly in the first half, if not the second. Realising they've a good chance of maybe trying to get a goal, bringing on Atuhu.
Whittingham delivers, Darcy Blake at the far post. Ledley, able to dig it out just too high for Hudson. And it came off the Leicester head.
Again, it's the in-swinging crosses, it's so difficult to defend against. That he just gets half a yard, doesn't need to get past his full-back. Half a yard, and that's good defending again.
He has certainly put in a shift. 75 minutes of hard graft for Martin Waghorn. On comes Jan Kermorgant, the French striker who scored his first goal for the club last time out against Middlesbrough. And it's defending that's the name of the game for the home side here. And they do it pretty solidly, but it has come to Chopra. Good block by Serrano. Richie Wellens feeling that particular touch didn't help the cause. Ledley got in ahead of Kermorgant. Giving away the throw-in and now giving away the foul. It's not making it easy for his side to clear it away. Good territory this is for Whittingham to really get a bit of whip with that left foot of his. Behind the back of the referee, just stealing a slightly more favourable position. The Leicester fans spotted it. And Wiley probably getting a little bit of help from the assistant there via his earpiece, and he moves it back. And Whittingham in turn puts it back in the wrong spot. Is he going to make him move it again? A little cluster of 5 yellow shirts in that box. Whittingham! Oh, it's brilliant! Peter Whittingham with an absolute parlour to give Cardiff City a valuable lead.
Well, this is amazing, isn't it? Just when you thought they may end up being 0-0. Peter Whittingham, normally you'd be going for the far post, aiming for the players to come in. The in-swinging cross at that far post, and I'm sure that's exactly what Chris Weir was thinking. But no, he's gone completely the other side. That is a really well-taken free kick in off the post. Dave Jones absolutely delighted.
Goal number 24, and it could just be worth its weight in gold for Cardiff City.
Well, what technique it really was incredible. You could see he knew exactly what he was trying to do. Everyone was thinking it was going to the far post, and that's why Chris Weir was probably just a yard or two over. Gave him the chance to get it up and over the wall and in off the post. My goodness, what a massive goal that could be.
I wonder in the post-match, post-mortem, whether the fact that he just stole a little bit of space from where the original offence was given away might be something that will come into the reckoning.
No, you're looking at a couple of feet difference, really. I don't think it makes that much of a difference.
Well, it did hit the inside of the post and go in, so a couple of inches might have made a difference.
Well, I still think from that type of position you shouldn't really be beaten. I'm sure Chris will be thinking exactly the same thing as well. Just expecting that ball to the far post. You can't expect those. Just got to make sure the goalkeeper will always be told you'll never get beaten at the near post, and that's exactly what happened. Great free kick as it was.
A yellow card for Mark Kennedy for a little bit of time wasting. 1-0 the scoreline when they met here in the league, but that was in Leicester's favour. Cardiff City have breached the rear guard of the home side, and they may get another chance to do it here as Chopra is bundled over. He had a warning before, so you can't say it hasn't been coming, but there is the yellow card.
Well, they just need to be careful, Leicester. They're 1-0 down. Cannot afford to give away a second goal. You do feel if Cardiff can win this game 2-0, it's not going to be game over. They have a massive, massive advantage. Just keep the discipline, don't give away silly fouls. Certainly don't give away silly bookings. What does Whittingham do now? Look at ball and man, look at ball and man. That's what you're taught to do as a defender. You should be doing the same thing. Chopra just feinting to try and move it.
Two of the hottest shots in this league. Whittingham this time finds an obstacle in the shape of the Leicester wall. Leicester need a goal, but how they can ill afford to be caught cold, and they are looking a little bit ragged at the back now. 10 massive minutes in the grand scheme of this tie.
You know, the ironic thing is that Leicester have probably had the better of the second half, or certainly been equal to Cardiff, where they were outplayed in the first. I think the substitution has made a difference for Leicester, and yet Cardiff are a goal up.
Another Whittingham free kick. Leicester may have been the better side in this second half. Peter Whittingham may have been one of the quieter players on the pitch, but it looks like the man who is joint top scorer in the Championship over the course of 46 games will have the telling say here. Here comes Bothroyd to try and tee it up, and it was just behind the on-rushing Whittingham.
Great skill from Bothroyd. Just coming out wide. Centre-backs don't really like to be out wide and then run at. Down the outside, great ball, great cut back. He's asking, he's screaming for someone to get there. Good defender from Bruce.
More Cardiff City pressure. Again, Whittingham at the heart of it with the corner. Palmed away by Wheel from right under his own goalpost. To find a way to get out. Solano, slide rule pass in towards Bryant. He's closed that well. Oh, it's come to Matt Bryant. Bryant for Leicester. Oh, super save. Bryant couldn't capitalise. And he couldn't feed Spearing either. Well, as important a moment perhaps as Whittingham's free kick is Fryatt's miss.
Well, he showed a lot of composure, but you just wonder the lack of match fitness here. Bang, have a shot. David Marshall, excellent save, standing up, trying to make Fryatt make the decision himself, not going down early. Poor defending from the two Cardiff defenders. Just left foot, should be side foot in there along the ground. And then again, just at the far post, Spearing was free. Over the top, 1-on-1. They've been under the cosh many periods of this game. I'm sure he'd be dreaming of chances like that.
We said earlier when he came on of all the people to be in the positions to get those chances. Nigel Pearson and Leicester would have hoped it had been Matty Fryatt. He's hardly played since Boxing Day when he last scored a goal. 9 appearances without one. I think a fully fit and fully operational Fryatt, and it would have been 1-1. And ifs and buts don't count in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it was just the fact that predominantly being a right-footed player, strikers should be as good on both sides. It looked as if he didn't really want to strike the ball with his left foot and just flick it with the outside of his right. Because Marshall wasn't going down early. Ended up being a good save and a bad miss. Really good chance.
McPhail, the beneficiary of Hudson's strong header. Another fresh legs of Kelvin Atuhu. Just showed a little too much to Hobbs. Gallagher. Fryatt, can he make up the ground? He'll settle for the corner. Who's collected a yellow card, withdrawn for the final 6 minutes or so, and Daniel Getton, a more attack-minded, fleet-footed midfielder, thrown on. Gallagher. Hobbs got his head to it, but could only glance it wide.
Okay, well, Peter Whittingham, you can just see here, Alan Wiley's not looking. Oh, you're talking inches. Another foot or two. And Wiley coming back, saying, come on, you've got to move it. You just see, he ended up just putting it back, and probably another foot. I still think the goalkeeper should not be beaten from there. Great strike as it was.
Strong header, now Fryatt again. Here's Gallagher, so much blue in the box, Gallagher!
Well, we're not seeing a lot of Gallagher on the right-hand side. He's on the left now. Just what he wants to do, come in again on his right-hand side. Norton's got to be showing him down the line, making sure he can't get that shot there. Just trying to use McNaughton to the far post, curl it in. Just couldn't quite curl it enough.
Well, they're certainly going for this equaliser, aren't they? You could see 4 or 5 players tanking into the penalty area there to get on any knockdown or cross that was delivered. Solano. Hudson away. Bothroyd. That's excellent centre-forward play. Couldn't find Atuhu though. Loose clearance by Wheel. Straight to Ledley. Now Whittingham. First half largely belonged to Cardiff. The second half, Leicester staged a rally and had their own say, getting the dominant footing. But the main say has been had by Peter Whittingham. And time fast running out for Leicester to stage a response to get an equalising goal. Well, they've got a free kick here.
To be fair, since the goal, they've battled back hard, shown a lot of spirit. Tried to create some chances. I think Cardiff have been the better side. Probably deserved to be a goaler. I tell you, with just a couple of minutes to go, one good set piece. That's all you need. And take it back, 1-1.
Well, Gallagher's standing over this for Leicester. Assembled company in there. Met by Whittingham's head, appeals for handball. You can hear it immediate. And it's not going to be given by Alan Wiley. Spearing, McPhail away. It was his hand that was at the heart of that moment. Solano needed to be better. Ledley. Now McPhail. Atuhu. Long and leggy and full of running. And Sopra with him, could work by Atuhu. Excellent work by Hobbs to close the door. Gallagher. Out comes Alex Bruce. Turned round the corner by Kermagher. Here's Nguessen. Right in the middle. Now Atuhu in the last minute of the 90. Well, a home win in yesterday's first semi-final. Are we heading for an away one? And should this have been another penalty?
Well, it's come to Steve McPhail. I think that's harsh. You can't give that, not for me anyway. You can just see, okay, there's a little bit of control there, definitely hit his arm. I think Alan Wiley's made the right decision there.
Well, a much less convincing shout than the one we saw earlier on for the handball by McNaughton. Neither given. Ross McCormack, who blazed the goal-scoring trail last season in his first season in English football, will come on as 5 minutes of added time a signal.
He's not shutting up shop, is he? Dave Jones bringing on McCormack, an attacking player. Certainly could have brought on the likes of G-Pairs and Capaldi, Wildig in midfield. Starting to go like for like up front.
Oh, here's McCormack. His first touch could be so vital. McCormack, brilliantly blocked by Bruce. Oh, he couldn't have dreamt, Dave Jones, that his substitute would be in the thick of it so quickly.
Well, this is a wonderful tackle. Great ball. You can just see here, Alex Bruce is on the ground. And as Chris Will's on the floor, McCormack was just ready to get up and stick it straight into an empty net. Bruce does so well to get up so quickly there. Wonderful challenge. At 2-0, I think that could well have been over.
Well, Fried had his one-on-one moment that he couldn't capitalise on. And Ross McCormack with his. Whatever happens in the closing minutes, it looks like Nigel Pearson's momentum coming into this of 5 consecutive wins is coming to an end. It's like Dave Jones made the right call to rest all those players on the final day to be fresh for this one. That's still a long time to go. Fryer trying to manoeuvre himself into another position to return to the score sheet. Hudson away. Getting in a bit of a tangle with Fryer. The Leicester supporters appealing for everything. Burner bounced off McNaughton. Here's Hobbs. Floating ball in, glanced away. And bodies on the line, here's Jay Spearing. Hoisted high, Gallagher! Oh, really good appeals for handball there as Hudson came across.
Oh, what a wonderful chance at the far post. And I'm just thinking, take it first time, head it. You're at the far post, you're free. By chesting it down, you're giving the defender time. And it certainly hits his arm. Well, Mark Hudson comes across there. Well, it comes off his leg first, then onto his arm. Just wonder whether Gallagher could have taken that first time.
Well, Gallagher does take the corner. Leicester throwing everything at their guests here. But they could be caught with the counter. The two substitutes threaten to combine. Atuhu wide on the left, but here comes Jay Bothroyd. McCormack still going in the middle. And Leicester City's captain, their player of the year, strides across in commanding style. Now Friat. It's end-to-end at the moment. Playoff drama at its finest. And we've still got another 90 minutes to go on Wednesday. McPhail. Free kick Cardiff. 90 seconds away from the signalled 5, Dave Jones. And Cardiff for a vital foothold in this championship playoff semi-final. Nigel Pearson will look at it and will think 3 times in this second half a ball has hit a Cardiff hand inside the Cardiff penalty area. He might have expected the law of averages would mean he'd get 1.
Yeah,
he's had none.
I think he probably should have got the McNaughton one. I'm not sure about the Stephen McPhail or even the Mark Hudson one. Yes, it did hit his arm, but I think it hit his leg first.
Guessing. 5 wait in the middle here for Leicester. One of them is Gallagher. Comes back off McNaughton. And it's kept in just by Marshall. Or is it? Corner's been given. He thought he'd kept it in.
Another shout for handball there for Gallagher. Well, you haven't got the other 3. You're not going to get that one.
Well, David Marshall has a yellow card for his trouble. Into the 96th minute of the match. If Leicester do it here, this is what's called leaving it late. Oh, and what a save by Marshall. That looked to all the world to be the Leicester equaliser. Bothroyd stoops to clear. The slenderest of leads, but the most vital of leads for Dave Jones and Cardiff City, who have come to the Walker Stadium and won, courtesy of Peter Whittingham's goal. They take a lead back to South Wales, and Leicester know what they have to do. They have to go and win at a ground where twice already they have lost this season. Advantage Cardiff after the first leg. Leicester City 0, Cardiff City 1.
Well, they gave it the big finish there, didn't they? Both clubs going toe-to-toe in the final few minutes there to get a goal. It ends up with Cardiff going back to South Wales, a goal up in the playoffs thanks to that man.